Welcome dear students. I am Richa Shakya, Assistant Professor from the Noida Institute of Engineering Technology, Pharmacy Institute, Greater Noida. Now, today I am here to deliver the lecture. The subject is Pathophysiology and the subject code is BP204T, and this subject comes under the course B Pharma, and this course offered by the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University. So, this is a lecture number 28, and in this lecture we discuss about the etiology of the cancer. In the previous lectures we discussed about the principle and the classification of cancer. So, basically in this topic we discuss about what is the etiology, what is the pathogenesis of the cancer, what is the etiology means what is the main causes. There are various causes of the cancer. So, we discuss about the various etiologies of the cancer. So, now we start from the introduction part of the cancer. So, basically in the last lecture, in the previous lectures we discussed about what is cancer. So, cancer is the disease which is caused by the uncontrolled cell growth, right. So, cancer is a disease which may be characterized or it may be caused by the abnormal multiplication of the cells, and the cells will perform irregularly. The cells will react irregularly and they can't perform their function properly, right. So, cancer is a disease mainly characterized by the abnormal multiplication of the cell in one part of the fourth body, one of the fourth body, just like lungs, liver, breast, colon or brain. So, these are the main areas which is the main area or which is called as a visual organs of the body system. Okay? So, right. So, lungs, liver, brain, renal system or different systems in which the cancers will occur. Now, there are many types of cancers, each type of cancer is a unique. So, each kind of cancer or the cancer cells are the unique because there are various kinds of cancer just like lung cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer, brain cancer, blood cancer. There is a series of the cancer just like lymphoma, just like lymphoma or the leukemia. So, what is leukemia? Leukemia means the blood cancer, right. Lymphoma is the cancer occurs into the lymphatic system, right, and there is a sarcoma. There is a various series that in the previous lecture we discussed about, that is the sarcoma, right, carcinoma, leukemia, lymphoma. So, basically what is sarcoma? Sarcoma is when the cancers occurs into the supporting cells, which is basically connective tissues, right. It is sarcoma. Now, what is carcinoma? Carcinoma basically it is the cells, it is a cancer which occurs into the upper skin or upper layer of organ, internal organs, right. This is the carcinoma. Carcinoma means the cancers which occurs on the surface of the skin or the surface of the internal organs. Now, if we talk about leukemia, so leukemia is a kind of the blood cancer, and last one is a lymphoma. So, lymphoma is a kind of which damage the lymphatic system, okay, which damage the lymphatic system, by which when the lymphatic system get damaged, what happen at that time, the person becomes very very dominatic with the diseases, right. जो भी pathogens हैं, they pathogens just attack on their body, they can't fight with that particular pathogens. Why? Because the lymphatic system get damaged just because of cancer. So there are many types of cancer. Each type of cancer is a unique, and throughout the two different people may have suffer from the liver cancer. For example, the cells compose of tumors, and they are not identical, especially at the molecular level. So these are there are several kinds of the cancers. Now basically etiology, what is the meaning of etiology? Etiology means the cause, right. What is the main cause of the cancer? So certain genes control the life cell, the growth, functions, division, cell death of the cell. Basically there are some genes which control the whole process of the cell. They just control the whole process of the cell, by which the cell know their proper function, right. Just like they control their life cycle. So they know when they grow, they know what they will do, they know when they will divide it, and after that, after the complete life cycle, they know when they will die, they have to die. But in the condition of the cancer, this system become damaged. The cell can't recognize their functions, they can't recognize their cell division, they can't recognize their death time. They just replicate itself in the improper manner, and they are totally wastage. The replication of that particularly cells are totally waste, right. So when these genes are damaged, when these control genes are damaged, and what happened at that time, the balance between the normal cell growth and the death is lost. The balance between the cell growth and the cell death will be balanced by these kind of genes. But when the genes get damaged with the cancerous cells, so the homeostasis between the balance between the growth and the death of the cell will be damaged. So when it will get damaged, the whole function of the body will be altered. The cell get malfunctioned, and due to this the whole body system get altered. So after that, after the condition where the genes are damaged, they forms the cancerous cells, right. So what is cancer cells? Cancer cells are caused by the DNA damage and out of control cell growth. So they are caused the DNA damage, because DNA damage because of DNA damage, they don't have the checkpoints, so they know that what is the functions to be performed, right. So at that time they can't recognize their function just because of DNA damage, right. Now the following is a partial list of the factors known as damage is the risk of cancer. Just like these are the main risk phases which may cause the etiology, which may cause the cancer. So first is mutation. The etiology, the first etiology of the cancer, it is mutation. Mutation means there is a sudden changes into the cell. There is sudden changes inside the cell, due to which the cell perform their malfunctions, or they just replicate itself without any checkpoints or without any guidance, right. So genetic mutation may cause the cancers. For example, mutation of gene, this is a gene that is a BRCA1, BRCA2, right. These are the some genes which are control the cell growth. So they just mutation in that particular genes. So they link to an increased risk of breast cancer, ovarian cancers, and they can inhibit the body's ability to safeguard and repair the DNA. So when these genes BRCA1 or BRCA2 get damaged or they get destroyed. So, they may cause the breast cancer or ovarian cancer, and they also do not know to how to repair, and they also lost the ability to how to repair their damaged DNA. If the damaged DNA can't repair itself, after that the cells will grow, uncontrollably grow and abnormally grow, right. So, there is a copies of these mutated genes can be passed on the genetically to the future generation, which leads to the genetically inherited increase the risk of the cancer. So, when these genes are transferred into the new offsprings or the new generation, so this kind of cancer may goes or may continue with the series of the generations, because this particular genes transfer from the one generation to the another generation, and these series may cause the cancer to the various generations. Now, environmental causes. So, the next etiology of the cancer is the environment. So, basically cancer may be caused by the environmental exposure, just like sunlight. If there is an excess amount of sunlight exposure to the person, there is a UV radiations, there is a UV radiations into the sunlight. When the person is continually exposed with the UV radiations, they just maybe they are maybe they are suffer from the cancer. So, when the person is continuously exposed with the sunlight, sunlight can cause the cancer through the UV rays, that is ultraviolet radiations. So, the next thing is that so can the air pollution, like just like soot, wood, dust, asbestos and arsenic too, the name just as few. So, there are just some other environmental sources other than the sunlight. They are just like soot, wood, dust, asbestos, arsenics, and there is a many kind of substances which present in the environment, and they cause the cell damage and they cause the cancer. Now, next is a microbe. So, next etiology is a microbial cause. Just like these include the bacteria just like H. pylori, which cause the stomach ulcers and has been linked to gastric cancer. Viral infections including the Epstein-Barr, HPV or the hepatitis B and C, and also have been linked with the cancer. So, there are some microbes, there are some viruses, bacteria, pathogens, there are some microbes which can also cause the cancer, just like the H. pylori, right. These are the bacteria which are present inside the stomach, right. When the H. pylori continuously attack on the stomach, they cause the ulcers. When there is the continuously ulcers, so what happened at that time? At that time, the ulcers will maybe break, maybe burst, and when they burst out inside the stomach, they cause the very heavy bleeding and inflammation, and this may cause the cancer, right. Just like in the it is may cause the gastric cancer, just like viral infections like hepatitis A, hepatitis B or a series of hepatitis, which may cause the liver cancer, right. Hepatitis, what is hepatitis? In the previous lecture we discussed about this hepatitis. Hepatitis means inflammation in liver cell, right. There are many causes of the hepatitis. There is many causes. There is a parenteral causes, there is unhygienic conditions, there are many causes of the hepatitis. So, basically what is hepatitis? Hepatitis is a condition where the inflammation in the liver cells, and when there is a continuous inflammation in the liver and the liver cell get damaged, there is a series of inflammation, just like inflammation, swelling, then there is a fibrosis, right, and that after that there is a scarring, and after that there is a liver cirrhosis, and after that when the person is not treated with the liver cirrhosis, and so at last the person is suffering from the liver cancers. So, there is a series of the diseases which may cause the cancer just because of the microbial agents, right. Now, so there is a various infections cancers. So, just we discuss about one by one. So, hepatitis B or hepatitis C. So, hepatitis B and hepatitis C, I have already told you what is hepatitis. So, hepatitis A and B, B and C is a hepatocellular carcinoma, means these are the cells which are present into the hepatic. So, these are the hepatocellular carcinoma. Now, next is the anogenital cancers. So, these are the HPV 6, HPV 16 or HPV 18. Now, gastric cancers, it is just because of H. pylori, and this adult T cell leukemia or the lymphoma type of cancer just because of HTLV1, this is a virus, this is HTLV1 virus. Mark cell carcinoma, these are mark cells which mark cell polyviruses. So, these mark cell polyviruses just cause the mark cell carcinoma. Mucosal associated, that is a MALT, MALTL, ठीक है, MALTL, that is a mucosal associated lymphoid tissues lymphoma which is caused just because of Hemanthes. Hemanthes is a disease which occurs into the cystomes or the chloricinices. Lymphoma, it is a kind of the immunity, it is a kind of immune cancer, that is just because of HIV-1. Lymphoma, this is other kind of lymphoma, it is a kind of lymphoma that is a lymphatic cancer, that is just because of EVB. And Kaposi carcinoma, it is just because of HPV-8. So, these are the infections and the cancers which are caused by the various kinds of viruses, bacteria, microbes, right. Now, next thing, lifestyle and diet. So, lifestyle and diet also may cause the cancers, just like lifestyle choice may lead to the cancer as well. So, eating a poor diet, inactive person or lethargy person, obesity, heavy intake of alcohol, heavy use of consumption of tobacco are maybe cause the, including the smoking, it may be cause the cancer, and exposure of the chemicals and toxins all associated with the greater risk of the cancer. So, basically lifestyle is also the main cause of the cancer. So, the person who are take the heavy consumption of the alcohol, heavy intake of the alcohol, consumption of the tobaccos, smoking, so these are more prone to the cancer. So, basically etiology. So, basically common causes of the this cancer is the smoking and tobacco. So, smoking and tobacco may cause the lungs cancer, mouth cancer, right. Diet and physical activity means it may cause the gastric cancers. Sun and other types of radiations, right, they may cause the skin cancer, skin burns and skin cancer. And other viruses and the infections, there is a, I already told you, there is a various kinds of viruses and the bacteria which cause the various etiology of the cancer. Now, some substances cause cancer primarily through their physical rather than the chemical effects of the cell. Basically, the cells are basically the cells perform their functions by physically, they are controlled physically, but they also affect with the help of the various chemicals, right. So, the prominent example of this prolonged exposure of the asbestos naturally occurring in the mineral fibers, which are majorly cause of the mesothelioma, right. The person who are working into the mines, right. So, there are the who are working in the mines, there are some kind of minerals, especially the asbestos. If the person takes the asbestos in the very high quantity, then the person suffers from the mesothelioma, which is a cancer of the serous membrane, usually serous membrane surrounding the lungs. So, just because of inhalation or just because of intake of excess amount of asbestos, the person who are working in the mines or just react with the some chemicals also. So, there is a asbestos. So, when they intake the asbestos in the very high quantity, so they just cause the mesothelioma. So, these mesothelioma is a kind of serous membrane cancer. And what is serous membrane? Serous membrane is a layer which release the mucus, right, which release the mucus, especially these serous membrane present nearby the lungs. So, this asbestos may cause the lungs cancer, right. Now, other substances in this category including the both naturally occurring and the synthetic asbestos like fibers such as wollastonite, atapicolonite, glass wool, rock wool are believed to have the similar effects just like the asbestos. Now, non-fibrous particularly material that cause the cancer including the powder metallic of cobalt and nickel and crystals of the silica, that is a quartz, cristobalite or the tridiamide. So, there is some non-fibrous there are some non-fibrous materials which may cause the cancer. They just like a metallic cobalt, nickel, crystals of silica which is a quartz or the cristobalite or the tridiamide. Usually, it is a physical carcinoma must get inside the body such as through the inhaling. The tiny pieces requires the years to exposure the development of the cancer. So, this is not a sudden process, this is a very long process. The person intake of this kind of substances regularly, but in the very small quantities. So, it takes continuously. So, this is a process for a long life, and after that the person detect or diagnose with the cancer. Now, risk factors. So, where there are various kind of risk factors of the cancer. So, the exact cause of the risk factor of the cancer is still unknown, but there are certain risk factors, that is maybe risk factors of the blood cancer, or there are some other kinds of the risk factors of cancer just like family history, just like genetics. I already told you in the previous slide that there is a BRCA1 or BRCA2, this is a kind of gene which may get mutated, and they may cause the breast cancer or the ovarian cancer. And when these kind of genes is transferred from the one generation to the another generation, so what they do, they just transfer from the one generation to the another generation. Now, just like genetic conditions, chemical exposure I already told you, smoking, history and the treatment of the cancer, infections, that are various kind of series of the infection just like hepatitis or the HIV viruses. Now, division of cancer. So, in the previous lecture I discussed about when the cell is normal, when they get disrupted with the help of any, with the condition of any kind of matter, they just mutated itself, they forms the cancer cells. After the series of the cell division, they forms the tumor cells, they forms the tumor cells, and these tumor cells converted into the, in the future, that is a cancer cells. Then this is a series of the development of the cancer. Now, symptoms of the cancer. So, there is a key symptoms of cancer may include unexplained weight loss, fatigue or extreme tiredness, unexplained pain in neck, fever, unusual lumps or the swelling. Basically, this is the main reason when the doctor or the physician goes for a diagnosis of the cancer cells. So, basically there is unusual lumps or swelling in the particular area for the long period of time. So, doctor or the some clinical some physicians, they just go for the diagnosis of the cancer, it might be a cancer. Now, there is a continuously weight loss just because of kind of any kind of cancer, just like lymphoma or the leukemia. So, at that time the person becomes very weak, and due to this the continuously there is a weight loss. Extreme tiredness, just because of extreme weight loss, the person feels very tiredness and pain and ache throughout the body, and fever. So, there is a person when there is a high fever, then there is a very severe pain and something. So, person suffered from the cancer. So, this is all about the etiology of the cancer. So, the etiology of the cancer is the main, it's mainly genetics. It may be genetic, it may be from the environment, it may be from the microbes, it may be from the diet, right. So, there are a lot of series of the etiology of cancers, and now these are the symptoms, these are the some key symptoms of the cancer. Thank you.